we have been discussing the creation process from Srimad Bhagavatam, how this universe gets created, the entire process of this universe creation, why this universe is created, for what purpose, all this we are discussing step by step. It is said in the scriptures, the acharyas reveal, Bhogavancha kare bhuliya jiva. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavancha kare. Jiva, soul, Atma, forgets God because of its material desire. Bhoga vancha. Vancha means desire. Vanchana, vancha means desire. What kind of desire? Because desiring is part of soul. Soul means it keeps desiring. But what is this desire that has made you forget God? This desire is, I want to enjoy happiness without God, independent of God. This is a problem. This is the problematic desire that soul has got. I don't want God's interference. I don't want to be dependent on God in my happiness. I don't want God to be involved. Why it is a problematic desire? Because constitutionally, according to our Swarupa, we are eternally dependent on God. We are dependent. It is impossible to enjoy or experience happiness without God. But still we have got that kind of one desire. So in order to respect soul's thinking, feeling, that means our desire, so God is giving one opportunity. Okay, you can try this. You got such a desire. Now you can experiment. You can try. So to give that opportunity for the souls who have developed this kind of idea, this kind of desire, that I don't want God, I want to live independently, and I want to enjoy and experience without God, for them to give an opportunity and the suitable facilities, God is doing this creation called material creation. Otherwise, this is not required, because for you to enjoy, for you to experience happiness, already the spiritual world exists. There is already spiritual world. Like at home, your mother is cooking. There is an item cooked at home, but somebody has got a desire. No, I want to eat some different item. I don't want this, what is cooked. So for you, there is something called hotel exist. At home also there is kitchen. There also food is cooked. But I have got a desire. No, I want to eat something which is different, not cooked by my mother. Then there is something called hotel, restaurant. There is another kitchen. There is another kind of item is made. So you go there and you enjoy there. Similarly, originally, everything that is required for soul, everything that is required for Atma to be happy, to enjoy, already exists in Vaikuntha Loka, in Golok Vrindavan. But this desire is there. No, I want where God is not there. So that is why a world has to be created. A place has to be created. Facilities has to be created to fulfill such desire, where God looks like not directly there. So that is why this entire material or prakrita or material brahmanda or srishti is happening. So now how to happens? Now first of all, the soul, Atma, means spiritual body. Atma means spiritual body. In the spiritual body, you can enjoy, you can experience. Chandogya Upanishad say, Anandamayo Abhyasat. What is the nature, swabhav of the Atma? Always enjoying, always experiencing happiness. That is a swabhav, like swabhav of the fire. What is the nature of the fire? Always hot. There is no point, there is no time that fire is cool sometime. It's cold now. No. Always 24 hours the fire is always hot. Like that, Always the soul nature is to be happy, enjoy, experience. And that is there already as a Atma, Satchidananda Vigraha. But because now you want a different type of happiness, which is not a spiritual happiness. That means you require a different type of body. Different type of body. And that different type of body is called material body. And that is why now material elements have to be created. Already our body is made up of spiritual elements. But now material elements have to be created to fulfill material desires. Material tools, instruments called Jnanendriya, the response or action senses called Karmendriya, everything has to replicate. Like for example, I'm sitting in a car. I have my legs. With my legs I can move. But I'm sitting in a vehicle. That vehicle also has got legs. What do you mean by leg? Leg means that which allows you to move. So it can be through wheels, it can be through so many ways. Like moving is what the activity of the leg. Like snakes don't have any legs, but they still move. That means there is a sense called leg, but not necessarily like the way human beings have got. So anyway, so like this, we discussed so far how so many material elements are created. They are called tattva. Tattva means raw materials. What is that? Raw material of this universe. The raw materials for creating our body, not just for human, body for any soul. It could be aquatics, it could be birds, it could be animals, insects, anything. Plants, trees. The raw material used for creating our body. And then there are some raw materials called, tanmatra. This all we have discussed. So we discussed that there is something called prakriti, moola prakriti. And that is in inactive state. And Supreme Lord Krishna, Narayana, he makes it active, and that time pure original sattva guna, pure original rajoguna, pure original tamoguna become manifested, visible. From that, the combination of those, Mahat Tattva gets created. And that Mahat Tattva is one of the first ingredient or raw material of this universe. And that raw material becomes the body of one great personality called Brahma. There is a soul called Brahma. And for him, the Sharira, the body is that element called Mahat Tattva. And from that Mahat Tattva, the second element is created, and that is called Ahankara Tattva. And what is this Ahankara Tattva? We have elaborately discussed in our previous session. So that Ahankara Tattva brings this quality called that I-ness. Aham means I am. This is not Hindi or local language Ahankara, which we say too much pride is there, we say Ahankari, though that is not the meaning of Ahankar. Aham means I am. Kara means that I am the doer. So Ahamkara means I am. That feeling that I am, the feeling that I am this body, or I am son, I am daughter, that I am, that feeling comes from Ahankara. And that is become the body of another great personality called Shiva, Lord Shiva, or Mahadeva, Rudra. And from that Ahankara Tattva, there are now three more categories called Vaikarika Ahankara, Taijasa Ahankara, Tamasa Ahankara. So, Tamasa Ahankara, from the Tamasa Ahankara element, Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then Pancha Tanmatras, all are created. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The combination of all this process called Panchikarana this Pancha Bhutas are created. And then from the Taijasa Ahankara Tattva, Pancha Jnanendriyas are created. And then Pancha Karmendriyas are created. And then there is Manas. And the mind, here when we say Manas, we generally hear the word mind. The mind has 5 layers or 5 features. How many? 5. Chitta, Chetana, Buddhi, Manaha, like that itself has got 5 more divisions in that. So the Buddhi that we all use, it's a part of the mind element itself. This is not the Mahat Tattva Buddhi. That is a different type of Buddhi that makes you discover who you are. This Buddhi is to discriminate for your existential purpose. Okay, where should I go? Should I take left? Should I take right? Where is the food? The food is there. How do I reach that food? This Buddhi is a part of mind itself. This Buddhi is different. And this Buddhi is what we all use in our day-to-day work. So these are called Taijasa Ahankara. Why this name has come? In Sanskrit, Teja. Teja means power. They have the power. These tools have the power to see, the power to hear. Tejaha means there is some power. That is why it is called Taijasa, because of Teja, power. And then there is Vaikarika Ahankara. Vai means in Sanskrit Vishishtha. That is the meaning of Vai. Karika means Karya, work. Vishishta Karya, Vaikarika. Ka means Kartru. The one who does special action is called Vaikarika. So those who have been hearing, they understand this, that no material can act on its own. It requires an operator. Right? So now Lord Shiva has created this Panchabhuta, Prithvi, Jala, Vayu, Agni, Akasha, like this. They're all material elements. On their own they don't work. It requires an operator. Somebody has to operate it. Then Jnanendriya, like our eyes, our ears, all those things. They also require an operator. Without operator, they also don't work. So for all these things, operators are created, and they're all created under Vaikarika Ahankara. The Devatas who operate all these elements, Panchabhuta, Pancha Tanmatra, Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, Manaha, all these things now you require operator. And again, who will operate them? Some great personalities will operate them. So now the Devata Srishti, who are called Tattvabhimani Devata. Abhimana in Sanskrit means controller, or the owner or controller. So they own it and they control it. It is under their control. Of course, they are not the absolute controller, but they are the controller. So now those who control the activities of all these things, they are created under Vaikarika Ahankara Tattva. Like for example, it is in Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned, who controls which, this one. So today we will hear that and understand how they operate and control that. So first and foremost is, the mind is operated. Our mind is operated, controlled by many personalities. Sometimes there are one personality controlling it. There are certain different personalities controlling different aspect of these elements. The mind is controlled and operated by Lord Shiva himself, because he is already the owner of Ahankara Tattva. And then the mind is controlled by Indra. Who? Indra. Indra controls, and there is a personality called Kamadeva, who is also called Skanda or a Kartikeya. So he is also one of the operator and the controller of the mind. And then comes the Pancha Jnanendriya, like eyes, ears, all those things. Who operate them? Our eyes are controlled by sun god, Surya Devata. Eyes are controlled and operated by Surya Devata. And then ears are controlled by Dik Devata, especially Chandra, moon god. And then our skin, Twak, this is called skin. The skin is controlled and operated by Pranavayu. Vayu, there are varieties of Vayus. One of the Vayu called Pranavayu, Twak. And then our nose, the smelling ability, is controlled and operated by Devatas called Ashwini Devatas. Ashwini Devatas. Then tongue, our tongue, the tasting activity is controlled by a Devata called Varuna. Varuna Devata. Now let us understand a little bit because our mind is corrupted with modern education. So these things don't go into our head so easily when we hear all these things. Sometimes we say, oh, I don't see. Somebody is saying that sun controls my eyes. I don't see how sun is controlling my eyes. So the modern problem is that unless I see, it is difficult for me to believe. This is against the spirit of the modern science itself. The modern science, how it works? It works from what is visible to what is not visible. That Newton was sitting and he saw an apple falling. So what he saw was apple falling. Now what he wanted to know is what is not visible. What is not visible? That the force that is making the apple fall, called law of gravity, gravitational force. A scientist is interested from moving from what is visible to what is not visible. What is visible is apple is falling, that everybody is seeing. They are not called scientists. Because Newton saw what is not visible behind what is apple falling, so he is called scientist. This is the spirit of the science. Everybody knows this table, book and all those things. But scientists want to know, no, this is not table. What is visible is table, but what is not visible is atoms. Protons, neutrons, that is not visible. We want to go and see how it is there and how it is making it happen. So the science approach is that you have to progress. You have to go from what is visible to what is not visible and how it is working. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, what is visible to us is our ears, our eyes, our nose, our tongue. And what is not visible is that the Devatas who are operating it, how they are being there and they are operating. That we have to understand. Now, before even come to this point, one more point we have to understand. We are discussing about the raw material and the operators of the raw material. And all this is happening where? Beyond this universe. As of now, the universe is not even created. The universe is not even created. Before the universe was created, first the elements are created and the operators for those elements are created. Controllers and operators of those elements are created. And for these operators, their body is that element itself. Our body is made up of what? Panchabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether. But these Devatas, their body is not like our body. They have a body and their body is made up from those raw materials. Like for example, Surya Devata, sun. The sun god or a Surya Devata that we are discussing, his body is made up of an element called Chakshu. The element called Chakshu, eyes. Now what is there in our mind when we hear this word eyes means what? Like this. This is the eyes. No, this is only a tool. There is a raw material called eyes. And that eyes, what is that? It has a seeing potential. And such an element which these things we cannot understand with our normal buddhi, all these things. We have to understand there is one sukshma raw material, moola bhuta, tattva. and that is called Chakshu, and that Chakshu is the body for Surya. And that, because there is an element called Chakshu and it requires an operator, and that operator soul is Surya Devata. So as a together, Chakshu Sharira and Chakshu Atma, that Surya Devata is operating our eyes. Is operating our eyes. Everybody's eyes, look at their capacity. Not just that Surya is there in my own eyes and making it work, and what about another person's eyes? No, there also same Surya Devata is there and making it happen. That is their presence and make it work. So how it is happening? We see this, like if I close my eyes, suddenly I am not able to see anything. If I close my eyes, I cannot see anything. The moment I open, I am able to see so many things. What do you mean by seeing? What is this action called seeing? We have to carefully understand. To understand all these things, even though we are discussing at a very extremely superficial level. This is, our entire discussion is very, very superficial level, and that itself we have to carefully understand, right? What does this seeing means? Seeing means I am able to capture, or I am able to perceive the colors and the shape or the forms. That is how I am differentiating one object from another object. How do I know that this is different from this? Because of the color and the form and the shape. So the eyes do this job of perceiving the color, shape and the form. So your eyes, these tools called eyes are perceiving it. And who is making it perceive? Surya Devata is making it perceive. And then after that, the connection has to happen. That I saw it. We have to feel, no, I saw it. And that I saw, that seeing and I, there is already ahankara called I. And there is something called seeing. The both has to connect. That I saw it. There is something called I am. There is something called I exist, I am. And there is something called seeing. The activity called seeing is happening. And seeing is happening where and all it is happening? It is happening in the tool called eyes. It is happening with the Agni, without Agni. Agni means the light. Without light you cannot see it. So, and then there is an object. So all those things are involved. So when there is a process called seeing, and the person who is seeing, they have to get connected, and this connection is done by these Devatas. If the Devatas don't do that connection, you won't get that experience that I saw it. The connection is always done by the Devatas. Like for example, you see what is happening is, you take the example of our eyes. And medically, when you analyze this with modern science and medically, what is modern science is able to do is that they're able to figure out the physical phenomena behind all these things. There is a physical phenomena. That is why they are able to create another thing called camera. What is this camera doing? It is doing the same job of your eyes. It is doing the same job of your eyes. There is no difference. But unfortunately, our capacity that we can create something like camera. But what Devatas are doing is something more than this. What is that? That camera is also doing the same job of eyes. That means reflecting the light, reflecting the object, all that it is doing. But it will not get the sense that I saw it. It doesn't get the feeling of, I saw that. There's no such sense in the camera. You can keep some object in front of the mirror. So there is an object being reflected in the mirror also. So where is the sun god there in the mirror? Sun god in the mirror is not required. Why? In the mirror there is no soul to feel that I saw it. So where the soul is there, who has to get this feeling that I want to see or I see it, that connection of seeing to the person who is seeing is done by the Devatas. So the seeing connection between the eyes and the soul is done by Surya Devata. So that means now, again, same example. Some people say, oh, he's a blind person. What do you mean by blind? There can be two types of blindness. The blindness because your eyes are, there is some problem with the tool itself. Like for example, this camera itself has some problem. So then it is not able to capture it. This is the problem at the tool level. That's what the doctor, ophthalmologist, the eye doctors, they are able to cure it only if it is at the tool level problem. Whether it is a cataract or what a laser treatment. This is if there is a problem at the tool level. The tools are okay, but I am not able to see it. That means that Devata has stopped doing the job for you. I may have the tool, but it doesn't do its job. Everything is all right. Sometimes doctors, when you go and say, they say, all reports are saying everything is all right, but we don't know. This is where the Devatas come into picture. Your tool may be all right, but there is a person who operates that tool. They are not doing that job. Like for example, I can keep this camera here, but I will not switch on that. So will it see? Can it capture it? Why? The tool is capable of seeing. It has all the capacity to capture and all that. But it requires an operator. Somebody has to switch on that. Somebody has to operate it. Only then the camera is doing its job. So our eyes are the tools like the camera. It requires an operator, and that operator is the Devata called Vaikarika Devatas or Tattvabhimani Devatas. So those Devatas are created through Vaikarika Ahankara Tattva. And so many Devatas like Surya, whose body is made of an element called Chakshu, and the Chandra Devata, whose body is made up of what? Body is made up of? This earring. Not again, don't think that our human ears are the body for you. There is an element called ear. That is the body for Chandra. And that Chandra operates your ears. Dik Devata. Sparsha is through Pranavayu. Varuna operates our tongue. If the Varuna doesn't do his job, you will not get the experience of taste. Of course, again we have to understand, when we say these Devatas are doing all these things, how are they getting this Shakti to do? That's what we read in today's shloka. It is a Shakti of the Lord, because the Lord Krishna is there as a Paramatma in those Devatas. So as a Paramatma in the Varuna Devata, he gives the Shakti to Varuna to do that job. So in one way you can say God is only doing all these things. In another way you can say God is doing, but he is doing through his agencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Because original power is coming from the God, so you can say God only did it. But God is doing through his agencies, through his assistant. So you can also say they are doing it. So Varuna is doing, because the Paramatma in Varuna gives that Shakti to Varuna to connect the tasting activity to the experience of tasting. Otherwise it does not happen. So Pancha Jnanendriya, the Devatas for Pancha Jnanendriya, eyes are operated and controlled by Surya. Our ears are operated, the Shrotru are operated by Dik Devata. That is one of the Dik Devata is Chandra. And another Pancha Jnanendriya, that is our skin or Twak. It is operated by Pranavayu. Another Pancha Jnanendriya, that is our nose, Grana, the smelling ability, that is operated by Ashwini Devatas. Jikhva, the tongue, is operated by Varuna. Then Pancha Karmendriya. Pancha Karmendriyas are action senses, are those who want to interact. Like I saw a dog, now I want to run away, or I want to attack the dog, or I want to pamper the dog. This is my response. This is my interaction. To interact and to give response, I need senses, and they are called karmendriya. So we have 5 karmendriyas. First karmendriya is the making sound. The karmendriya of sound. See, again, sound, the tongue is used in the sound. The same tongue can also do tasting. The tongue can also do activity of making sound. And that means same tongue is operated by 2 devatas. When it is doing tasting, it is operated by Varuna Devata. When it is using for making sound, it is operated by Agni Deva, fire god, Agni Deva. So Agni Deva operates our speaking capacity. Again, it is not just the tongue. The speaking ability is not only in the tongue or mouth. It starts from our Nabhi, and then it is Hridaya, and then there is a Kantha, and then there is this Talavya, upper palate, lower palate, and there are lips. All are involved in Vak. The karmendriya called Vak. When you say Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nya, these sounds are produced from here. Ka, Kantha. Kanta. I, Swara. Swara are produced from your I, from your Kantha. Like this, there are Kanthavya, Talavya, Dantavya. These are all the specific sound. Any sound is not what we are talking here. Any sound is not what Agni Deva is operating. Any sound, some vehicle is going, so Agni Deva is making that sound. No. Agni Deva is the one who operates your ability to produce swara and vyanjana. There's a specific sound called swara. A, I, U, R, E, I, O, Au, Aha. This is called swara and, the visarga and anusarga. This sound, if you want to make, Agni Deva has to allow you to make that. Through this, whatever already there in your body. If Agni Deva does not operate your body in a particular way, you'll have problem. You'll be saying A to A, E to E, something and all you'll be saying. Like you see, people speaking wrong ways. Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nya. Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, Nya. The specific sound, if you want to produce, this Devata is required. And that Devata operates, then you are able to say this. You see, now we are saying, that means Agni Deva is doing. Agni Deva has that capacity to allow your body to operate in such a way that particular sound comes. See how complicated all those things. Like for example, you see one keyboard is there. Keyboard. Or even our mobile also. From that you can make flute sound, you can make harmonium sound, you can make so many sound. But we can't say how the sound is coming out. That is the intelligence and that is the power that is invested in that. Sa, sha, sha. What is sha? What is sha? What is sa? All are different, and each one of sound, swara, have their own impact in this universe, and that is Agni Deva, Vak Karmendriya. And then comes another Karmendriya called Pani, our hands. Means I want to execute. And this is again, of course, in as I said, some of the this kind of things are managed and operated by multiple devatas. Some we are taking the predominant devatas. Is Indra Deva. Who controls our hands? Indra. Sometimes you say, it's not possible in my hands. People say it is not. Mere haath se nahi ho payega. Haath se kya ho? We will say, okay, can you run from here to Mumbai? Arey, mere haath se nahi. Haath se koi nahi jata hai. But still we say, mere haath se nahi hoga. Why do we say the word hand? Because predominantly it is operated by Indra. Everything is done by this hands, karmendriya. You require this. So then comes Pani. Pani is hands. pada. Pada are legs. So these legs are again operated by sons of Indra, son of Indra called Jayanta, or his another name is Yajna. Sometimes in the Shastra, different names will be mentioned. So we should very carefully read that. His name is Jayanta or Yajna, and they are operated by that. And then comes Upastha. Upastha means the genital. And this genital is one of the Karmendriya, and this is operated by Daksha. A Devata called Daksha. And then comes this Payuhu. Payu means rectum, where your body throws out all unwanted things in your body. And that is operated by Mitra Devata. There is a Devata called Mitra Devata. So the whatever is unwanted in the body has to be flushed out. Otherwise it leads to death. And that is operated by Mitra Devata. So like this, different aspects are controlled by different Devatas. And now all these Devatas have come into picture. Raw materials are there. Operators are there. But for them to create this universe is not under their capacity, not within their capacity. Elements are there, like I can give you khova, ghee, sugar, I'll tell you, please create gulab jamun. That doesn't mean that I have the knowledge or I have the required skill, I have the required ability. Like for example, there may be a small child, 2-year-old child. If you give gulab jamun, it will eat. But doesn't mean it can create a gulab jamun. Oh, no, don't worry, I'll give you all the ingredients. No, that small baby does not have the ability, required intelligence, required, ability to make a gulab jamun. So like that, the Devatas are so great. They're able to do all these things. But they cannot create this entire Brahmanda where all these elements are there in a particular way. And that is the shloka that we discussed today. What is that? Here it is said, Tada samhatya chonyanyam cho anonyanyam. That means all these things put together. Bhagavad Shakti choditaha. Because of the Bhagavat Shakti, because of the God's Shakti, Sadas Asatvam Upadaya, they all got assembled. Now all the Devatas, they offered prayers to the Lord. Oh my dear Lord, that please come and assemble all this tattva. Tattva means the raw elements, a raw ingredient. Please assemble. And then again Supreme Lord came with a Shakti, Bhagavat Shakti Choditaha, Sadasatvam Upadaya. Then Sasruju, the creation again happened. What created now? Universe got created. And what does this universe means? Universe means all these 24 raw elements, a raw material that were created, now they got assembled. In a particular way they got assembled with Bhagavat Shakti. And that universe called Brahmanda, or the universe, was created. So raw materials were created. Assembling the raw materials, the universe is created. Who created the raw materials? Supreme Lord Narayana created. Who assembled the raw materials? Same Supreme Lord Narayana. Tattvabhimani Devatas they are not capable of creating universe. That is what half an hour I have explained. Okay, so they are not capable of assembling or creating. That is why now they are again offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. Please, you help us. And so again the Supreme Lord assembled all this together. It's again a detailed process. We are not going into the detail how the Lord did that. So he assembled it. And that is called creation of the Brahmanda, which we are seeing, the universe that we all see, scientists are seeing and all that. And after creating Brahmanda, again the Supreme Lord took all the raw materials and the Devatas, all these Devatas, including Brahma, again entered inside that Brahmanda. Entered inside the Brahmanda. Just like first of all we purchase the cement, steel, all those things, paint and all. Then we build a house and then we go inside the house. So like that, the Supreme Lord Narayana, he created this universe and already these Devatas are there and the raw materials are there. So with all of that, he entered inside, and that is called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. The Narayana that we see, that he's sleeping and from whose navel one lotus come out. Lotus comes out. And in that lotus, again Brahma is born. Means he again is already there, is already created outside of the universe. Again this Brahma is born because this is happening inside the universe. And now after Brahma is born inside this universe, now he is told by Narayana to do the secondary creation. What is secondary creation? Like there is something in civil engineering, there is something called superstructure. And then there is a superstructure means they'll build the 4 wall. Inside that you can make one bedroom, you can make one kitchen, you can make whatever you want. That is called the secondary creation. So the secondary creation is done by Lord Brahma. Again at one level. He'll not do full detailed. He'll do at one level. Again now Lord Brahma is going to do the next creation, which is called Visarga, or the further detailed creation, which we get to see that. So he will create new Devatas. New Devatas. And each of those Devatas will do different types of creation, which we are seeing. Like for example, our parents. They also did the Srishti. They also did the creation. What did they do? They created body. They created body for us. This Srishti is going on. It is always going on. So this creation is forever going on. What is this creation? This creation is all about giving body, material body to souls. Why they need material body? Because they have bhogavancha, they have got material desire. What do you mean by material desire? What is the difference between spiritual desire and material desire? Material desire means I want to enjoy without God. I want to experience happiness without God, independently. I don't want to give any credit to God. You see now, so much we understood. Everything is created by God, operated by God's agents. In fact, God only is operating through them. When you have this awareness, I'm seeing means Supreme Lord Narayana is making me see by creating my eyes, by creating Agni, by creating a Tanmatra called Rupa, and then by creating one Devata called Surya, and then giving the Devata Shakti to make me see. This much God is doing so that I am seeing it. When you have this is called Sattvika Ahankara. What is that? Sattvika Ahankara. Right way of seeing, right way of thinking. The second one is, okay, God is doing all these things, but I am also doing. I don't want to give any credit to the God. Like so many people, they attend Bhagavad Gita class, they know God created everything, but still they want to take credit. My family, my home, my salary, I went to job, I got my salary, it's all, everything is mine. I built house, this is my house. As if they created Panchabhuta for that house, as if they gave the Shakti for the cement to bind the materials, they claim ownership. Mine, like this. This is called Rajasika Ahankara. Taking credit for ourselves. Even after knowing that God has done all these things. Tamasika Ahankara means I have no idea. God created this. There are so many elements involved in this. There are so many operators involved in this. Only thinking is going on is me. I am there and I did everything. There is no knowledge at all. That is called Tamasika Ahankara. Tamasika Ahankara creates Samsara Bandhana. Rajasika ahankara creates also samsara bandhana. Sattvika ahankara, when you see, you give credit to God. When you listen, you give credit to God. Because you know you are only taking benefit. You have no capability to do all these things. Inside this material body, God is making do all these things. So how to give always this credit to the God? When you have this jagrata, when this knowledge is active in your mind, you are walking on the moksha, your path, liberation path. When you are taking credit for yourself, then you are getting more and more entangled. That is some kind of madness, thinking that I am the owner, everything is under my control, sky is a limit and everything is under my control. I can do whatever I want to do. This is all one kind of madness. That madness comes because of tamasika influence. So after why Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining all these things? So that we get this knowledge. We know when I'm drinking water, I give credit to God. I'm seeing something. I should know what and all is involved in my seeing. All that I am doing. What is the soul is doing? What is that soul is doing? It is simply desiring. Vancha. Except desiring, nothing you are doing. You are only desiring that I want to see. That's all. The entire that seeing process, including the seeing tools, seeing experience, everything is executed by Supreme Lord and His agencies. And finally that is given to you. Yes, I saw it. So if you have any common sense, some proper intelligence which requires Mahat Tattva to understand that, so at that time you say, I should give this credit. Or now you understand, okay, all these things I will use. I'll use all these things for pleasure of the Lord. I'll use all these things for my moksha, for going out of this material world. No, I will use my eyes to watch new Hollywood movie. I'll use my seeing. See how complicated process is involved in my seeing, right? But I want all that seeing to be used for watching some football, cricket match, sit and watch some whole day. So in this way, I will use my seeing. I want to listen all nonsense, some news debates that are going on. So my ears are used for that. Like this, we want to use this amazing creation, then you are entangled. But when you use all these things as per the Shastra's recommendation, what is Shastra saying for what I should use this? When you use for that purpose, you get moksha. I don't care for all these things. I know, but I don't care for all these things. Rajasika ahankara. I know, but I'll not care. Rajasika ahankara. Stay in this material world only. So that is why all these things, discussion is going on between Lord Brahma and Narada in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vitiya Skanda. Narada is asking from his father, my dear father, I think you are the supreme creator. Brahma is saying, no, I am not the supreme creator. Let me explain to you how the creation happened, who is the supreme creator and who is controlling what. And when he is explaining all this entire creation process. Even Brahma is not taking the credit. Some foolish fellow is coming and telling me, you are a great man here, and yes, I feel good, yes, I am only great man. No, he's so gentleman. He said, no, let me educate you. I am not the so great man here. The great man, there is one great man. Let me tell about that great man and how he created this and all these things. You see this? Same thing is happening. In Padma Purana, Mother Parvati is approaching Shiva and saying, you are the supreme person. He's saying, he's a gentleman. He says, I am not the great man. Let me tell you who is a great man. So, this is how Shastra explain. Idamekam sunishpannam dheya Narayana sada. How Narayana is as that supreme Lord. How he does this creation. The body that we have got, it is called Pindanda. Anda. Anda means what? Anda means a body. Brahmanda, Pindanda. From where we got this? Pindanda means a microscopic universe. Everything that is there in the universe is there in our body also. Same elements are used. Every 24 elements are there. To analyze and understand, that is called Sankhya Yoga. To analyze and understand what are those raw materials and how they work, when they work, how they work. This is called Sankhya Yoga philosophy. So Pindanda means our individual body, small microscopic body, which works like one universe. And there is one huge universe, and that is the body of Lord Brahma. Brahmanda, Pindanda. How this body operates, whether it is Brahmanda is also operated by Tattvabhimani Devatas. Our Pindanda is also operated by Tattvabhimani Devatas. That is why Shastra say, be grateful to God. Be grateful to Devatas, because they are doing all these things for you people. Have respect, have some devotion, have some gratitude for them. In return, do something for them, because they are doing all these things for you. With the right understanding, Devata Aradhana. When we do Devata Aradhana with this understanding, oh, you are doing this much for me. Of course, that also we have to rightly understand. They are doing it because Supreme Lord has given that order to them. They are not some independent people, but they're still doing it. So that is one of the Pancha Bhuta Yajna, the Tarpana that we give. So one of the Arghya and Tarpana, one of that is expression of our gratitude. You're all doing this much in my body. You see, simply sometimes suddenly something stop working. And we are running around to hospitals and we are finding out some doctor. You see how we are trying to figure out all these things? But that is at only physical phenomenal level. Above physical phenomenal level, there is another level, Devata level. They are also operating it. And if they decide, they can give. That's what we see in the scripture. Sometimes somebody gives you eyes. You don't have ability to see, but somebody will grant that ability. Seeing ability, hearing ability, speaking ability. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhaya te girim. Mukam karoti vachalam. You're a dumb man. What do you mean by dumb? I have a tongue. It's not that my tongue is cut off, but I'm not able to produce this swara and varna sound from my inside. Why? Because Agni Deva is not allowing it. Why he doesn't do that? That depends on your desire, your karma and your kala. So all these parameters based on our desire, based on our eligibility called karma, and based on the time factor, these devatas work. And all these devatas work under the supreme power of Narayana. That's what Lord Brahma is revealing in Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we understand this, it should give us that great feeling that how God has created all these things. How this is all getting operated. How this is going on. You see, for example, there is a fan. What is that fan? You can say this is called air. But this air, that means a fan or a AC has a capacity to give you the feeling of air. But on its own, it will not work. It requires one operator. Somebody has to switch on. Somebody has to set, okay, 22 degree, let us keep. Somebody will say, no, keep it 30 degree, like this. Who is controlling all these things? And they are called these devatas, who operate such things. And they are operating at that scale, which is humanly, in a normal way, not possible to figure out. Like a normal person is not a scientist. So many apples are falling. It's not that till Newton saw no apple fell in this world. Apples were always falling. But Newton saw from a special drishti, from a science drishti, there is something which is not visible making it happen. I want to figure out that. Because he figured out that, we adore him, we appreciate him. Like that, if you figure out what is making my eyes work, what is making my ears work, like that, what is making my entire body work, oh, devatas are making it work. And then you are called a yogi or a proper devotee. Otherwise, he'll be living like a foolish fellow, uneducated, who doesn't know how all these things happen. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving all this explanation. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.